Josh Williams at Gowalla headquarters, and we're going to be talking today about your panel at South by Southwest. So tell us a little bit about your panel titled Beyond the Check-in Location and the Social Web.
So I think it actually got renamed something to the effect of Where Are We Going? And a little bit of the discussion will be about over the last, I guess it was almost 2 years ago when we launched the first version of Gowalla. And, you know, I still think we're very much in the early stages of what we can do with location-aware phones and devices. And so a lot of this will be kind of forward-looking at what sorts of new eyes will we be able to see the world around us in the future based on location. And a little bit of looking back at, you know, the past year or so with like how badges and checking in and some of these things that have driven the adoption of a service like Gowalla might be more fad than they are the future of where we're going. So that's kind of going to be the broad fly-in. And then, you know, some of the history of like how we built what we built, and it'll be fun.
Okay, cool. It sounds exciting. So what are some ways that people are already starting to use location-based services in new ways?
I think some of the really interesting things that we're seeing right now are services like Uber, which is a cab company in San Francisco that actually will quickly figure out like what street corner you're on, what black car service driver is nearby, and then send them to you within a matter of a couple minutes. And I think those are that's indicative of this sort of thing of like how location is going to be interesting, beyond just this is where I am now, show me where my friends are, but more of like this is where I am now. And now, what can I do around me? What options are available to me that previously, weren't before? Maybe it's I get to learn something new about, the building that I'm in, or it makes it easier for me to book a restaurant nearby. And I think that's kind of where we're going to be going in the next couple months and years.
Okay. So we already know that location-based services are great brand building tools. A lot of companies use them to build their brands, but we're also starting to see journalists use location-based services a lot. So tell us a little bit about that and how that's relevant to the current situation in Egypt.
I think what's interesting is we actually had, a handful of people check in at Tahrir Square on Gowalla, and a photo was posted there. It was just kind of like a fascinating little glimpse of people who are giving like a real-time report of what's happening. And we're starting to talk to a few news agencies about how they can tie in to like where people are updating their Gowalla account from during these sorts of events, as news or activities emerging that they might be interested in. And I think you're going to watch journalists paying they're obviously paying more attention to stuff like Twitter, but I think location services are going to be the next logical step of a way to get a real-time report of what's happening in a place. And I think that's really interesting.
Very cool. And you all just came back from doing a huge promotion at Sundance. I was following you guys on Twitter, and it seemed really exciting. So tell us a bit about what you did there and maybe something you learned while you were there.
I guess one of the really interesting things we learned at Sundance, to back up, we had the entire Sundance schedule baked into Gowalla, so you could see what movies were hot at a given point, or what theaters people were going to, or what restaurants they were going out to eat at. And I think what was really great for us is we were able to interact with hundreds of people who have never used Gowalla before and ended up using during the course of the event. And I think there's it's just eye-opening to find out how many people are still very much unaware of any of the applications operating in this space. And there is so much opportunity to educate folks on what they can do with the service that is telling them about the places around them. And so that was exciting, and also a learning experience, because we realized that there's certain things that we're just doing wrong. There's a lot of, when you talk about location-based services, it sounds, even the term itself sounds complicated, it sounds nerdy, and how can we communicate the joy and the entertainment of what these services provide without dumbing them down with geek speak.
Tell us a bit about what we can expect at South by this year from you all.
It's going to be big. We were repairing the Airstream after Sundance. We nearly lost a door on the way back from Utah. So assuming that all gets done, we'll have the Airstream back in operation, and we'll be doing a lot of the same things. We're You'll be able to use Gowalla to see what bands are playing right now, what shows are popular, what parties are popular. We're doing our own party, during the event. And then we're working with a lot of really interesting brands to kind of tie in the experience around South by. So you'll be able to perhaps win, free plane tickets or VIP passes to certain events. And so I think it's going to be a really interesting way to see, again, where your friends are in the context of that event. And we're launching new clients for Android and hopefully Windows Phone as well. So that's pretty exciting.
And are there any panels or speakers that you're looking forward to seeing this year at South by Interactive?
Very much looking forward to hearing Blake Makowski from Tom's. I think he's always an interesting person to hear talk, and the story behind Tom's is a fascinating one. So certainly he's at the top of the list.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Excellent. Thanks so much.